chapter 3, going to be working verses 15 and 16. Here's what it says. Brethren, I speak in a manner of men, though it is only a man's covenant, yet if it is confirmed, no one annuls or adds to it. Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He does not say, and to seeds as of many, but as of one, and to your seed, who is Christ. All right. What Paul has been doing is making a case, right? Building up a case that we're no longer under the rules and regulations of the law, defeating many of the false doctrine and heresy that was going around in the early church. In this situation, he calls to their attention the idea of a covenant or a contract, especially in those days and ages, that if you made a covenant, then you couldn't cancel the covenant, you couldn't manipulate the covenant, which would be a contract with another person. And he says this is a matter of speaking of men, but he's using it as an example to make his case of what God did when he made a covenant with Abraham. Right? And what he says is kind of interesting because he looks at the very specific word that God had given to Abraham to kind of make it clear that the lineage of salvation has to be through faith. Because if he goes back to Abraham, the law was not established in the day of Abraham. It was simply by faith that Abraham followed the Lord. There wasn't the rules and the rituals and the regulations. No, he did it simply out of faith, trusting him throughout the entirety of his life. Did he make some mistakes? Did he miss it? He sure did. But what does it say? It says, it's pretty cool. It says, now Abraham and his seed, right, if you notice that was capitalized, were the promises made. He does not say, and to seeds as of many, but as of one, and to your seed, who is Christ. So there's this implication in the original language that Paul is pointing out, that it's a singular seed, that one of his children at some point in time would ultimately be the one in which all of the promises of faith would be delivered to. Not necessarily down the lineage and having multiples and all that sort of stuff, even though God had a plan for the nation of Israel and worked his plan through the law, the actual promises of faith would be granted to those who would put their trust in the seed, which is Jesus Christ. The very person who would come down from heaven, God in the flesh, through a woman, and be able to be born and live a life of perfection, and then die on the cross for our sins, and then ultimately prove that he was God, and we have hope for eternity in heaven by raising from the dead and ascending into heaven. That was the seed he was talking about. And so what does this matter for us today in our life? Is that we know that we can trust the plan and the eternal plan of God from start to finish, that his plan was salvation through Jesus Christ and him alone. So for us, what do? We can trust his bigger plan. We know that as we put our faith in Jesus Christ, that our eternity is going to be secure and safe, that's going to be the very thing that we hold on to with our whole heart. And not only that, given every other circumstance in life, that once we have that eternal salvation and security, we get to look towards heaven, and all the other things of life begin to fade away before our eyes. It's no longer as important, the things of this world, but rather the things of heaven. Sure, life has all kinds of stuff included into it. There's blessings, there's pains, there's hurts, there's fun, there's all kinds of stuff that we should be able to enjoy, experience, all of that. But ultimately, our home isn't here, it's in heaven. And so we have a great hope and trust that God has worked his plan out from the beginning all the way till now, so that we might have a hope in the seed of Abraham, which is Jesus Christ, the one who is the founder, the maker, the sustainer of our faith. I love you guys. Be encouraged and strengthened today.